Good morning, 2019. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you all in class today, even though I'm not there. You guys have your due now. It's up on the screen, as you can see. You should be getting out your week sheet. You should be getting out your life work and getting started on these two problems for me. I'm going to go ahead and pause myself here so that you guys can work on these questions. So someone in the class can please pause me for 5 minutes, and then after those 5 minutes are up, you guys can press play and we'll continue going and checking our answers, okay? So go ahead and pause me now. Okay, so you should have just gone through 5 minutes of work time with that, so I'm gonna go ahead and start checking over these answers. So you guys have the first one. I'm gonna just put up the first one there so you guys can see the first step here is that we need to take this -4 and distribute it to the 2x and the +8, giving us this next row, so 3x minus 8x minus 32 equals -7. If at any point I'm going too fast, someone in the room can pause me and we'll slow down a little bit from there. Second step, I want to combine this this 3x and this -8x. So 3x minus 8x is going to give us our next row of -5x minus 32 equals -7. From there, we know that I need to add 32 to both sides to get rid of it right here. So I'm going to add 32 to both sides, giving me -5x equals 25. And then my last step, divide by -5, and your answer should have been x equals -5. If there are any questions, you can pause me and you can answer them. Otherwise, we'll keep moving forward. The second problem, first step is we want to make sure that we are combining like terms, but remember when you have to go across the equal sign to do that, you want to make sure you're using opposite signs. So what I'm going to start by doing is adding 11x, but you can do it anyway. So remember, if I choose to add 11x to both sides, that's how I do it, but you can also subtract 9x from both sides. You could add 2, or you could subtract 5 as your first move, okay? But whatever you choose to do, just make sure your answer matches at the end. So I did plus 11x, so 9x plus 11x to both sides is 20x minus 2 equals 5. And then I'm going to add 2 to both sides, giving me 20x equals 7. And then my last step is divide by 20. And now I know some of you probably said, 7 divided by 20, I don't like the way that looks and I want to get a calculator. But I want you to remember the fractions are okay. So it's okay if my answer looks like this. X equals 7 divided by 20. Or if you did get a calculator and you solved it using a calculator, you can go ahead and share out what that answer was so that you can make sure you got that as well. Okay, so these are our notes for today. Here's what I need you to do. Get out your math notebook. You're going to pause me for a moment and you're going to write in your fraction operations as the heading. So it goes on your table of contents. It also goes at the top of your page, fraction operations. We're going to use today to review some of these. So go ahead and pause me, write the first set of notes in your example, and then once you have this written in your notes, you can pick me back up. All right, so adding and subtracting, you need common denominator. So in this example, 3 and 5, a common denominator that we could use is 15. So I'm going to rewrite each fraction with the common denominator of 15. And you should be doing this in your notes as well, so you have an example written there. Now, when I change this to 15, I can't just change the denominator without changing the numerator. If it's 2/3, I still need this to represent 2/3 of 15. So the way I did that, I multiplied 3 by 5 to get 15. So I need to multiply 2 by 5 to get 10. And then I multiplied this 5 by 3 to get 15. So I need to multiply this 4 by 3 to get 12. So now I'm ready to add because I have common denominators. 10 plus 12 becomes, oops, using my marker wrong, 22. Okay. 15 plus 15, did someone say 30? Be careful, it's not 30. The denominator stays the same, right? So this is 22 over 15, which we are then going to simplify. 15 goes into 22 one time with 7 15ths left over. So 2/3 plus 4/5 is equal to 1 whole and 7/15. Okay? From here, I would like for you and your group to practice with these two problems. The first one is adding fractions, the second one is subtracting fractions. Go ahead and solve both of those with your group. You can pause me and then we'll check our answers in about 5 minutes. Okay, so you had a chance to check this work. You should have noticed that we have 8/12 and 3/36. The common denominator there is 36. So in this one, I actually only have to change the first fraction. So instead of being 8/12, I know that 12 times 3 is 36. So 8 times 3, good, 24. I know someone said it. So I have 24/36 plus 3/36, giving me 27/36. Excuse my handwriting. So 27/36. And then you should have noticed that this cannot be simplified. We can't turn it into a mixed number. It's already proper, so we do not have to do anything else with our answer. 27/36 is the final answer there. Okay? We do the same process when we're subtracting. So 5 and 7, hopefully you found the common denominator of 35. And this one you do have to change both. So 35 minus and 35. Okay, 5 we multiplied by 7 to get 35, so 2 times 7 is 14. This 7 we multiplied by 5, so 1 times 5 becomes 5. 14 minus 5 is going to give us 9/35. And again, this is not one that can be simplified or reduced in any way. And so we're going to leave our final answer as 9/35. Okay? Awesome. So let's go back to our notes. Second step. So we talked about adding and subtracting fractions. Now we're going to review multiplying fractions. So when you multiply fractions, what I want you to remember is that you do not need common denominators. You just need to multiply across. So another way of saying that is you're going to do the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom. And remember that when you have a whole number, you're going to put that whole number over 1 and then just use the same process. So go ahead and pause me for a moment, copy this down into your notes along with that example. And in this example, because we don't need common denominators, I'm just going to go top times top, bottom times bottom. However, before I do that, my light's cut off. Before I do that, hang on one second. All right, so before I do that, I want to simplify these fractions. And the reason I'm going to simplify first is because it's going to save me from having to simplify at the end. So to simplify, I'm going to say what number can I divide both 3 and 6 by? And I can divide both of them by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And so hopefully we notice that 1/2 is the same as 3/6. And that's going to be times, and I can also simplify this other part. So 2/4 is the same as 1/2 as well, or 1/2 as well, sorry, because both 2 and 4 can be divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And now it's just top times top, bottom times bottom, which is 1/4. And that's your answer. So go ahead and pause me, try these two problems. Remember to please simplify your fractions before you try to multiply. That's going to save you some time and some steps at the end of the problem. So go ahead and pause me and try these. All right, so simplifying these fractions first. 3/9 you should have turned into 1/3. 1/18 does not simplify, so then you're just doing 1 times 1 is 1. 18 times 3. So working on our mental math, 8 times 3 we know is 24. 10 times 3 is 30, so 18 times 3 should be 54. And there's your simplified answer. Same thing in the second problem, 1/6 that's already simplified. 2/3 is already simplified, so we're just going to do top times top. 1 times 2 is 2. 6 times 3 is 18. Now in this problem, 2 over 18, again, part of my handwriting, 2 over 18 can be simplified. I can divide 2 and 18 by the number 2. So 2 divided by 2 becomes 1. 18 divided by 2 becomes 9. And so my simplified version is 1/9. All right, and the last operation is dividing fractions. So when you're dividing, what I want you to remember is that we're actually multiplying by the reciprocal. So doing those two operations are the same thing. So instead of trying to divide, I can actually multiply by the reciprocal, which is the same thing. So again, remember when you have a whole number, you're going to put it over 1. Go ahead and pause me and write these notes in your notebook. And let's take a look at this example. I'm still going to try to simplify before I start. So 3 over 6, again, is going to simplify to 1 over 2. 2 over 4, again, simplifies to 1 over 2. And now I'm ready to divide. And so 1 over 2 divided by 1 over 2, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction instead of trying to divide. So I'm going to do 1/2 times, and then I'm going to flip this fraction. Remember, the reciprocal means you're going to flip it. So instead of 1 over 2, it becomes 2 over 1. And now I'm ready to simplify. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2, which 2 over 2 we know becomes 1. So my answer is 1. And this should really make sense to you, because if I have 1/2 of something, I can divide it by 1/2 one time, right? And so those numbers should kind of match up and make sense when you go through it that way. So let's go ahead and try 2 division problems. Remember, simplify first, and then you're going to, instead of dividing, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So go ahead and pause me and try these. All right, so let's check our work. So the first one, we had 2/5, which cannot simplify, so I'm just going to rewrite it. Times, because I'm going to change that division into multiplication, and instead of it being 1/8, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So 8 over 1. And now it's just top times top, bottom times bottom. So it becomes 16 over 5. And since this is improper, I do want to simplify this. 5 can go into 16 3 times. And you have 1/5 left over. Okay. In the second problem, I want to simplify first. So 3/9, I'm going to simplify to 1/3. And this should look now similar to the problem we just did before. 1 divided by 3. Instead of 1 divided by 3, it's going to be 3 over 1, multiplying by the reciprocal. And now this becomes 1 times 3 is 3, 3 times 1 is 3, so this becomes 3 over 3, which then simplifies to, you got it, 1. Alright, so that is the, sorry for the interruption. So that is the end of our lesson for today in new material and notes. All I need for you guys to do now at this point is take the worksheet, and when you look at the worksheet, you'll notice that it has 2 sides. The first side is just adding and subtracting fractions. The second side is dividing and multiplying with mixed numerals and whole numbers. There's a mix there of word problems and number problems. I really want you to try both and just kind of help each other out as you're working, okay? So remember, keep your volume appropriate for math, help your teammates out as you're going, and I can't wait to see the work that you're doing and be back with you all tomorrow. Have a great day, you guys. Bye.